So again, welcome. And um, today we're talking about the assistantships. What they are basically are jobs. So these are jobs that you apply for now for the next, either the fall 2021 semester or the spring 2022 semester. Today we will be opening up the application for the fall 2021. Um, the main we have a web page that you should have all got the link to, and that web page on the OSA Student Affairs site is the page where you can get all information that you need in one place. So that's the link that presumably you use to get to this webinar. So the first slide is basically just going over what the categories are. And we have basically two main categories. The TA and the readers are positions where you work for faculty, and they are instructional positions. Um, and they're known as officer appointments. And what that means is that basically you will receive every 2 weeks a paycheck, and it'll be this for the same amount depending on the salary. And you know, you're expected to work on average. For a TA, it'll be 20 hours a week, and for a reader, it'll be 15 hours a week. The salary for a TA is $12,000. The reader salary is $6,000. The main difference is that a TA leads recitation sections. And then the other main category we have are administrative positions. These are known as program assistant positions, and they are known as casual hires, hourly hires. So for these positions, you will be required to submit timesheets where every 2 weeks you are paid for the amount of hours that you work up to the maximum of the $6,000 program assistant, or the $3,000 as a student assistant. And the application falls into uh, two semesters. You have to apply separately for both. When the application opens up later today, you'll have about 2 weeks to apply, and then you'll hear the results in the following months. And uh, the results will depend. The date of the results will depend on the round, and we'll cover that later. One important thing to remember, though, is that for the spring, you are required to submit a separate application. So one misunderstanding or confusion that some of our students have is that when they apply for, let's say, a fall PA position and they are selected, they think that perhaps that position is good for the entire year, but they have to submit a separate spring application for the same PA position. And most offices, they do prefer the PA to work for the entire year. Um, so who is eligible to apply? Oh, um, sorry. So yeah, you have to be in good academic standing. And this is defined as you must have a minimum GPA of 3.0. And then you also, and it's really important, you have to be registered full-time in the semester of your award. So for this particular application cycle, it'll be for fall of 2021, you're expected to register for at least 12 credits in residence at SEPA. So this will be the main part of the presentation, which is the actual application. I will share a different screen now. We'll just go ahead and go and submit a sample application. The link to the application will be on the same page that we have, and you'll also receive individual emails later this afternoon with this link. It'll be the same link. So bear with me. I just clicked onto the link, and now I'm going to share the link to the application. Okay, so we'll just submit a sample application. Will you be enrolled full-time at SEPA? This is just more of a courtesy reminder that you have to answer yes. You can't answer no, but Hopefully you all answer yes on that. Your name. Very important is your uni. You have to answer it twice just to make sure that we have the right person. And then you can upload a resume. Um, you are required to upload a resume, your most recent resume. And then you select the positions that you're interested in. Now here you'll have a link here that's a really important document. It is the um, link to the job descriptions document. And this document will have a list of all the positions and all the requirements that if there are any specific requirements that a hiring manager may have. So for instance, if you look at the document, you'll see perhaps there's a TA class where the professor requires that you have taken the class and that you've received at least an A or an A minus. So that link is very important. And then now you just select the positions, and you can select as many as you'd like. Just keep in mind that you want to be careful with what you choose. Know how your browser works. It's slightly different, and unfortunately you can't expand the window. But if you want to select individual positions, be sure to press Control, and here you can control multiple positions. So you apply to several different positions. I would advise that you look at that job description document that lists all the positions and think about what positions you'd like, and only then do you actually submit the application so that you can check to make sure that you selected the right positions. We will, there's a separate application process, by the way, for SEPA IT positions. And that, I believe, that application will go up after spring break, but that's a separate process, and we don't administer those positions. So one thing that you might want to keep in mind, it's very important, is that each position here might have several different positions or um, um, jobs. So for instance, you know, student affairs is listed once here, but we have 5 positions. But you can apply to as many as you'd like, and just keep that in mind. So then what happens after you hit submit? You should get an automated response to say that your application was submitted. And then what's really important is, and I'll share the screen with you, is that you should get an email that lists all the positions that you applied for. So please check that email to make sure that the positions that you selected are correct, and check the email that you used when you applied in your original application to SEPA in Slate. That's the email. That's where you're going to get this auto response email. Okay, so back to our PowerPoint. The application, how it works is, what happens after you submit the application? So the faculty member will receive all the names of the students that selected their position, and at the time of the selection, they will give us a ranked list of 5 candidates per position. And then on that day, we will hold a meeting to decide who gets their candidates. And what we'll do is each position will have a randomly generated priority number, and then we'll just go down that list and determine the selections. And we'll do this in separate rounds. So the first round is the TA round, and we'll give you the results on March 20th. So on that day, we'll have this meeting, and then we'll select the, say, 60 or so TA students um, that have won an award, and we will remove those students from the application pool, and then we will make the next round, the reader round, with the remaining pool that's left, and we'll keep on doing that after the PA faculty and then after the PA administration. So that's why we have these different dates, notification dates for you. Um, and you know, for the spring we have separate dates with separate notification dates, but you should know basically whether or not you have an award by this summer. So that is the presentation. um, I will now open up the webinar to the Q&A. um, So please feel free to either type, or I guess um, I can't allow you to ask your question with audio, but you are certainly allowed to ask questions. So the first question, by the way, if you could ask your questions in the Q&A screen, because that's the screen that I'll be looking at. But the first question that we did get is, should you cater your resume to the actual position that you're applying to, or should it be general? Well, that depends. I would probably have a general application so that I am competitive for all the positions that I apply for. But then perhaps email separately the faculty member or the hiring manager and give them a more tailored, customized resume with an actual cover letter to show that you're interested in this position. Um, the next question is, where can you find all of this information, and when will the link be activated to apply? Uh, all information is available on that webpage, the SEPA assistantship webpage that you all have access. I mean, that was sent individually to your email. And the link to the application will be on there as well this afternoon, and you will receive individual emails with this link for you to apply. Anything else? So we have another question from my colleague Urbano, wanting to mention that students that started this term, the J-termers, are eligible as long as you plan to register full-time next year in the fall. Um, and this also goes to students that started in the spring, but in the previous year, because presumably you'd still have one semester left at SEPA in the fall. Any other questions? Um, you do. So the question is, are you required to have an F1 visa in order to apply? Um, at the moment, we're hoping that we will be able to, for next year, resume as much in-person courses as we can. But if we still have the students who are registered full-time, but are international students and do not have an F1 visa status, they will still be eligible to apply. Um, uh, as I said, really the only requirement is that you be registered full-time next year. Um, so one thing to remember is that the positions that you see here, they are a tentative list. They will mostly be the same positions that we will hire for, but it's not 100% confirmed yet. So we may have some positions that may not no longer be offered, and there may be new positions. So with the new positions, we will email you separately to advertise these positions, and uh, so you will have an opportunity to fill out. I mean, to address every position that we have. Another question is, so this is a good question. Do you have to fill out a priority list for the positions that you apply? No, you do not. You just select the positions that you would like to apply for, and you will be considered for all the positions. So because of that, one good way to go about this as a guiding principle for how you should make your selections is that you should select for as many positions as possible in order to maximize your chances. However, you should only select for positions that you would actually be willing to accept, because if you have an offer but you decline the offer, then you won't be eligible for any other position. So what happens after you submit an application and you realize um, that you made a mistake? Well, one quick way to remedy the situation is submit another application. The system will basically take the latest application that you submit by the deadline. And if you want to make absolutely certain, then you can also email the OSA and confirm. Um, if you sorry, I'm taking my time to read the comments. So if you submit an application and you realize you made a mistake and you submit another application, again, we only take the final application. So all previous applications will be deleted. Therefore, you need to include again all the positions that you were interested in previously as one final application in the end. That's a good question. So one question was, what if you were selected as an econ TA, but you really wanted to be the reader for that class and not a TA? So that's going to be difficult, because if you select the TA position and you're selected, you will be selected as the TA. You won't be even in the running for the reader position. So in that case, I would not I would not enter my name in the TA category and just apply for the reader position. Any other questions? Um, so one question we have is, uh, if you have a scholarship already that covers your entire um, that covers your if you're one of the lucky ones to have a scholarship that covers everything, I'm actually not sure of your eligibility, but I will follow up with that unless my colleague wants to address it. Um, But in any case, us following up with that is really just you needing to confirm, or needing to follow up with financial aid, because your ward may have very specific conditions. So, okay. One question is, well, I guess you can all see the questions. Oh, no, no, you can't. Sorry. Some questions are only asked to the panelists. Um, One question is, how do you know which professors will do interviews? That should be listed in the job description document that is that I mentioned earlier in the application. The link is in the application and on the SEPA webpage. Another question is, oh, so this is a good question, and it helps you understand the process. The question is, what happens if you are accepted for 4 different positions and you have to make a decision? So this won't happen, because the way that the process is structured, there's only you're only able to be offered to one position, because once you're offered for that position, your name will be out. So let me make this very concrete. Let's say that you're a superstar and everybody wants you, and we have an econ professor and a stats professor, and they both ranked you number 1. Well, when we make our selection round, those 2 positions will have a different priority number, and depending on whose priority number is higher, that person will get you as their TA. Um, so again, the salaries are all listed on these documents. There's another document called the Guide to Assistantships that will have a summary of the job duties of the different categories and the salaries. A TA is $12,000 a semester, and a reader is $6,000. And uh, one requirement is that you can only work for a maximum of 20 hours a week on campus. So if you receive a TA award, which comes with a 20-hour service commitment, you won't be able to hold any other position. You basically, for these assistantships, you can only hold 1 assistantship per semester. Um, so what if you, again, yeah, if you have if you have a PA position that comes with a 12-hour work commitment, and you have another position on campus that's only 5 hours a week, you can take that position, but you can't take a position if it has, let's say, 10 hours, where you would exceed the 20 hours a week. So we have a question that is asking about whether or not you should contact professors individually, just to make your case, or to to let them know about your interest. And of course you can, yes, you're definitely, um, I mean, if you have I would recommend that if you have a top 1 or 2 positions, that you contact these professors and let them know. So here's a question again about the selection process. If you apply for both a TA and a reader, and you get offered a reader um, in the first round, there isn't a chance to get a TA in the second round, right? So when we make these rounds, the first round will be the TA selection. So if you are selected as a TA, you won't be considered for any other position. But if you are not, then you will be considered for a reader position. And the reader position is the next round. Okay, these are good questions. Um, if you think of any other questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. My um, uh, I guess the only other point of business is to remind you that tomorrow is the deadline to withdraw from courses uh, with a W notation. But if there are no other questions, then thank you very much. Uh, my colleague is saying that the deadline to withdraw is today. Sorry. So please withdraw today if you plan to withdraw. Oh, we have one more question. If being selected for a position, oh, um, okay. So this is an important question. So what happens if you are selected and at the time you really did think that you were able to commit to the position and personal reasons for personal reasons you can't take up the position, are you able to decline without penalty? um, the answer is yes. Certainly make every good faith effort to honor your commitment, but if something happens, then we'll have to take that into consideration. However, if you did decline, um, if you did decline the position for that semester, meaning it wasn't about accepting the position and then many months later you decide that you get a job and you can't take it. You're not considered for any other position if you decline for that semester. Um, so again, some questions about uh, how many positions you're allowed to hold. Again, um, the rule is you can only work a maximum of 20 hours on campus. If there are positions outside of Columbia University, and that's what on campus means. It's not another position at SIPA, but outside of Columbia, then that's a different matter. This is a question about training for the instructional assistants, a TA and a reader. Yes, the Office of Academic Affairs, they usually hold a training session um, around the time of orientation before the fall semester begins. The question is, if international students apply, will you need a social security number? Yes, you will need a social security number. Um, here's a question: if we are in a dual degree program, um, and we'll be at SIPA for the first time this fall, can we still apply to TA positions? Oh, I see. Um, f- for for the handful of dual degree students that are coming from abroad next year, um, yes, you will be at a disadvantage because the faculty will not have an opportunity to know you. Um, you wouldn't have necessarily taken their course. Well, you wouldn't have taken their course, and they don't know how you would perform. But can certainly make a case. And again, it's up to the faculty to decide on whether or not whether or not you would make the best TA or reader. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your either morning or evening, depending where you are. Um, and all the best.